What's up, everyone? Welcome back to our weekly watch list. We had an interesting week in the market last week. We look at SPX. So I have the weekly on the right hand side and the daily on the left hand side. The daily will kind of look all over the place, but the weekly kind of gives a better perspective, right? So let me get the okay. So we're still in this with we're still within the broadening formation downside. Um, which basically means, for those that don't know, basically means that price is discovering where it can go, but facing downward, right? So right now we're kind of in the middle of it. We have a little bit more to the upside. We also have a lot more to the downside. Now, this is where the downside kind of gets scary. If you look back, just a couple of, if you look back just a couple of weeks, or rather years, back to August 2020. That's kind of the area where I'm looking for us to bounce, just because we had a bunch of traffic here in the past, right? So I'm looking for that bounce spot. I'm not saying we're gonna get to it this week. Obviously, we need some time to get back down to this level. But I'm interested in that whole, pretty much that whole zone, right? This whole zone right here is what I want us to kind of recapture. Um, this is the week prior to, this is right where COVID happened, which killed the economy and kind of made everything artificial. So we're coming back to that area. I don't know if we're gonna undo some of this drop here, and this climb. I think that we're probably gonna find a base maybe within some part of this, maybe here, right? Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, um, this is, I'm not looking to the future for this. I see that we put in a crazy green candle on the weekly. Um, let me take so so my next target for SPX, if we continue the upside move, would be test the top of this range here. Right now we're currently at the bottom, right? So the range of this candle here, and then beyond that would be this one and then this one, right? So if we climb higher, it would be to redo to come and test some of these levels here. And obviously, if we go lower, then we have this candlestick here that we got to retest. So that's what I'm seeing for SPX. Uh, Very interesting week. I think we have big earnings ahead, but I think the biggest ones have passed, are now behind us, right? Tesla, Apple, Google, Facebook. They're all behind us now. So I think that the market will be free to move without being consolidated for, like, days at a time, the way that it was last week. That's good. So let's just quickly recap some of the plays, some of the ones that we looked at last week. AKAM put in a big green week, as expected. DCJ put in a nice move and then pulled back a bunch. The pullback was based on the result of earnings, but we did get we did get a few green days after our watch list call. So if anybody jumped on that, capitalized, made some money. Chewy, we didn't look at Chewy. Cleveland Cliffs. I think I was looking for a CLF for an upside move, but it did not make an upside move. It gave us a bearish week all week. I know we didn't do coin because I was saving that for Jake. Caesar. Caesar did not disappoint. Caesar put in a nice move on the daily, pretty much every single day, and then found the expansion. So it closed much higher than it opened for the week. So you could have swung pretty much all week. That's the 42 calls. The ones that we recommended were the 42 calls for this week, actually. So you're in, you're still in. Congrats, and you obviously are well in money. And if not, then maybe we can, if you want to get some more money out of this, probably look at the 40. FCX, nice move. Undid some of it. So positive earnings. So earnings drifted up. And I think that it pulled back on like some of the other. But either way, nice green move. Crazy. HLT, nice move out of the weekly. Marvell, I had to the downside, but it actually topped around on its way up. So Marvell would have killed me, right? I didn't take it. I hope nobody took it. Is what it is. Nvidia. Nvidia is it's actually one of my favorites for this week too. So I'll go ahead and change that. Right. Nvidia put in a big green week last week. If we look at where right here, Monday, a little bit of indecision, but buyer stepped in. Tuesday, big rip. Wednesday, a little bit of indecision, big gap up on Thursday, and then Friday, bullish engulfing. Right. Let me just make sure this is high 138.50 and high 138.38. Yeah, so bullish engulfing on Friday. So we have the buyers support for this week, right? Pretty much all week, even with the gap ups and the indecision, we still made higher highs and higher lows. So my next target for Nvidia is going to be 143.69. If you look at the weekly, you have this inverse head and shoulders, right? Gonna bring that there. Now it's possible that we can reject, come back down, and then form a true shoulder. However, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that based on what I'm seeing, and really it's going to depend on AMD earnings on Tuesday. But based on what I'm seeing, we broke out of this broadening down on the week, and now we're working our way back up. Now, if we zoom out of Nvidia real quick, you'll see that there's a broadening formation that we've been in for a while now, right? And we kind of came down and made a low. So far, I'm going to go ahead and just adjust this to that. I'm not sure obviously how accurate this is, and obviously when things change, you change your thesis, and you change your lines for more accurate. So that's what I see. I see that we touched the bottom of the broadening, and now we're working our way back up. Now, what I want to see it rediscover this area here. I think that with earnings, it's potential. There's potential for Nvidia to do it. However, tech overall has been showing weakness when everything else has been very strong. Nvidia with their price raises, I don't think that's been well regarded. Although I think that overall, long term for the investors, I think that's a very very strong move, right? Very smart move for investors for them to raise the price. So we'll see. Right now, I think that this is going to wait for Nvidia for AMD's earnings, and then Nvidia has their own earnings towards the end of November or the middle of November. So we can have a potential run up. Let's see, right? So Nvidia is going to be one that I watch the next couple of weeks, actually. But I want to see a reclaim this zone here. And then let me just look at the daily with some moving averages. Yeah. So okay. So we rejected on Thursday, hard rejection at the 50-day, and we bullish broke through the 50. So now the next thing we need to do for this is hold that, make a candle that opens and closes above this 135 level. And if we can do that, the next target obviously is 148, but then really would be that 100. So most of tech is sitting at a major moving average right now. Nvidia happens to be sitting at 50. So as long as it holds it, then I think that we can go up. If we look at Penn put a nice green week as expected. If we look at RCL put a nice green week as expected. Took out the previous resistance over here. And if you took any of these, then obviously you would have got paid nicely, as discussed. Twilio actually looks really great to finally move this week. Like, it didn't give us the move last week. There was a bunch of indecision on this day, on Monday morning. We gapped up, came back down, came back up, right? So it's kind of looking like a handle here, right? Here's your cup. There's your cup, and then now there's your handle. And we're sitting right at the trend line, this falling resistance line. We're actually just above it, right? But the area is still it's an area of where resistance is very heavy, right? So what I do like about it though is that we put in a nice green day after a bunch of indecision days, a nice green day, and we let the smaller moving average cross through the larger moving average, and we held the 50 throughout the entire time, that whole week, right? So ever since we broke it here, boom, we've been holding that 50. So now I want to see it kind of retest this level. 77.14 is where I think we need to beat in order to make a real move to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this level because every time we get to this level, we kind of fail. Here happen here, like a triple tap vibes, and then by the time it gets there, we might meet this 100 day. So it might be a really big move. So that's another one to keep on watch for this. X gave us a bunch of nothing. I had some days, some good days, but all right. So into this week, and again, welcome back, guys. Thank you for being here. I know it's early. It might be someone's middle of the day. It might be something very very early. So thank you guys for being here. I gotta make this very quick because I have some family Halloween shenanigans that I have to get to. All right. So the first one that I have is I'll run through these and then we'll go through some requests. First one I have is UAL. So if you look at the weekly, UAL finally broke out of that range that it was kind of held down by right here. And again, I don't know what's going on in the airline industry. Maybe this is just a seasonality thing, right? Maybe it's just actually, you know what? I'm gonna check seasonality for it might be a seasonality for airline, considering that you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming soon. People usually buy their tickets now. So yeah, so September, October, November, it increases, right? It rises. People spend more. UAL. For Delta, kind of remains flat. It actually drops in November. Um, I love Southwest Airlines rises. Okay. Uh, and AL rises, but a little bit later, right? Instead of September, October, November, it does October, November. So anyway, UAL has some good seasonality on its side. Um, it's quite high, and it's only going to get higher for the next couple of months, or for the next month rather. So we have support there, right? Now, if we look at the MACD on a weekly, we got a MACD cross a couple weeks ago, to the upside, a bullish cross, and that's nice because it was at the bottom of this range, and with the cross, the momentum pushed us up above the top of the range, right? So good momentum, very very good momentum on a weekly, and then we had good earnings, and it looks like after earnings, you look on the left hand side. After earnings, we had like an indecision day, and then we gapped and went, right, gap and go. So very good reaction to earnings. If you look back at the weekly on the TTM, this indicator down here, you'll see that it's curving. It's curling up to the upside. It's looking like it's gonna reach zero soon, right? The zero line, which is right where these dots are. But what I like is that it's stable. It's not volatile, right? And we've already broken out. So what that means is if we get another nice candle, and depends on what this week does, but if we get we can potentially have a nice start to this week. If we can take out the high of Thursday, right? So the high of Thursday will put us at an area where we can start testing some of these levels over here. Yeah, take out the high of Thursday, and then we can hop and try to test some of these previous levels over here, right? These levels. So, or the top upper range of this candle. So UAL's on my list. If I were interested in purchasing calls, go ahead, pull up. Pull up. PD app isn't working. Let me look at my phone then. See. Okay. So I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking through the UAL chains, and for this week, so we're at 43.72. So play close. The 44s are a dollar, right? They're a dollar and 105. 105 market. 11.4. 44 call. You want to smash the ask, it's 106. Right? And then the bid is 103. So go ahead and put the and if you want to actually give it more time to shake out, since seasonality is on our side, that you want to buy something that's a little bit more expensive, something that's going to capture more of the move, which means just more time. Then let's look at November 18th, which is the OPEX week for November. The 46s are pretty stacked in terms of open interest. 46 call are pretty stacked. And just about the same price. 105 on the bid and 112 on the ask. So super cheap plays. The 46 it's a little bit further out, obviously, and with that you get a little bit more risk. But you have time on your side. So those are the two that I would recommend. And again, that's if this move continues. That's if this move continues. If we beat the high of day of Thursday on this, if Friday's price or Monday's price breaks out above Friday's price and breaks out above Thursday's price, now we can go back to test the price back here of June, right? These three candles right here are the first target. So that's what I'm looking for. And again, that's if momentum remains on our side. That's if the TTM fires to the upside. If we get a continuation of this. Next one that I have. All right, so the next one that I have is Shopify gave us a nice play on it was Monday, Tuesday. I forgot what day we played. There's so many plays, but there was one day that we played it and it like 100. That was the way that I've been gauging my plays too. Is like now, how can I get $100 the fast? Like $100, right? $100. Imagine you put on a jacket, right? It's getting colder now, so imagine you put on you take out a jacket that you haven't worn since last year. Reach in the pocket, you find $100. How does that make you feel? Do you feel sad? No. You feel very happy. You feel like it's gonna be your lucky day because you just found $100 in your pocket. And that's how I've been treating the market. If I find the play that gives me $100, I feel very happy. I feel just as happy as if I were to find it in my pocket. And so what I do is I smash the profit button, and I call it a day, and that's that. Like $100 is $100, and that's a winner in my mind, right? Big win. And if you find $100 in your pocket every single day for a month straight, then you relieve some pressure there, right? You can go on that vacation. You can, et cetera, et cetera. Make an extra payment on your, couple payments on your mortgage, whatever the case is. Like it's a game changer. So So that I've been approaching most of my plays like that. Like, oh, where can I find my next $100? And when I see the $100, I'm happy to take it. Right? I'm just as happy as if I were to find it in Shop did that. It gave us $100 last week. Um, and what I'm seeing on it now is if you look at the daily chart, which is on the right hand side, on the left hand side, we'll go right here. Got this area where it kind of fell down, came back up, fell down, came back up, fell down, and broke. Right now, it's not the cleanest head and shoulders, but we had this area of downtrend here between that candle, and everything else that was going on over here. Right, just this area where price kept falling, and now we're above that area. So now we broke the downtrend. We broke a previous level of support, is now currently resistance. Right, it's not quite letting us in. But we're holding up, even though we rejected on Thursday. Friday we put in a red day and bounced off that 100-day, so we held the 100-day, and now we're back back into pretty much where we closed on Thursday. And if we can continue the momentum to the upside, right? And again, look at the TTM on a weekly. It's been volatile. Excuse me, it's been stable for like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, right? So this thing is due for a nice pop, whether to the upside or the downside. You know, we have the earnings catalyst, a catalyst and positive earnings, which will bring us to the upside. MACD is regaining its strength, and the lines are all the way down here. So I like this for a move to the upside, a nice slow move to the upside. Now, are we gonna get it this week? Maybe, maybe not. Right? Shopify used to be trading at over $1,000, and since then they've dropped a bunch and they split. But one thing I noticed about Shopify is that it still moves, like it still makes like a $3 move in a day very quickly. Right? It can easily move a $5 or $5 or so in a week. So that's what I like about this ticker. I think that it's still good to have on your watch list. So I see it maybe consolidating here a bit, maybe test the 100-day one more time before it tries to go up and break through these levels. If you look at the weekly, I'll set my targets on a weekly. The first target is a break of this area of resistance here on these couple of weeks. And then above that, if we can get above that, then the next target would be right there. Next target, then it would be back into this area where we started forming our downside structure, right? Now it would be a change of structure, a change of character in this area. So this is the final target that I'm looking for right here, and then obviously from there we break that pivot and then work our way up. But I don't know if I'm not looking at 10 months from now. I'm looking at what's this week look like. So right now I'm looking for it to break this line right here, right? 34.90. Break 34.90, we can get 37. Simple as that. So let's look at the play for this. And then in terms of downside, I mean, it does have a good downside setup too. You can leave this. Let me just my short position. This actually has a really nice short setup. If you do, you can set your entry right at the open of the day, and you can set your stop right at the high of day, right there. And then you can set your low or your target to put it to this previous resistance. You got a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio. Basically undoing that one day with the price action, right? That's your short setup. I'm not in love with it for the short side. I think that it has momentum, starting to get momentum, especially with this indecision candle, hammer, and then push, right? So I'm looking at it to the upside. If you look at this week's chains, the closer we are, the closer you'll see me at money, pretty much. So I think the 34.50s are good. Go ahead and write 34.50s for this week. Are cheap. Also, they're $1.25 on the bid side, $1.28 on the ask side. If you want more time, a little bit more time, then you could do 11 to 18. And I think that we're getting back into the environment where we can start to swing a little bit more. That's what it seems like to me. I like the 35.50s. They have 700 in volume, or sorry, 700 in open interest and 199 contracts traded on Friday. Oh wait, you know what? I'm not even looking at the right thing. They have. Oh, that changes everything. All right, scratch that. Let's go a little bit further out. 37. Now I don't know if it's gonna get to 37. You know what? Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Why not? I don't see any reason why I wouldn't get to 37 in the next couple of weeks. Right, 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to get to 37. 37 call has 83.40 in open interest and 941 contracts were traded on Friday. And the price is $1.35 on the bid to $1.40 on the ask. So if you want time, just buy these. If you want time and you want to get closer, buy the 35s, the 35.50. But yeah, I think this is gonna go to the upside. If you want to play the puts, I would play obviously just this week. I wouldn't go beyond this week. And if you want to play the puts, I would play maybe the 34s or 33s. Even the 33s, I think might be a little bit far. 34 put right at the money, 126 to 129. And then yeah, if you wanted to play the 33s, what I like about the 33s is that the spread is still nice, even though it's a little further out by $1, but the spread is still nice. So that's if you think it's gonna reject and fall back down. I am biased to the upside. It will be hard for me to see a downside with this setup on the weekly, so I'm biased to the upside. There's your short setup though. If you like it. Enter at the open of the day. Your stop is the high of the day, and your profit target is gonna be this area of resistance, previous resistance back here. You can bring it to the bottom of this candle. You bring your risk reward down to about 3. You can bring it to the bottom over here if you have time, which will bring you your risk reward to about 6. So I think that this is very realistic over the course of a couple days. If we get a down week, I think that this is also very realistic. But again, we need market support. What that means is we need the market to pull Shopify back. So, who knows? We'll see. Then we have elections coming up this week too, like the beginning of next week. So this week might be chop into, or indecisively into election day, which is next Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays from now. Or it might rip. Who knows? Right? Historically, that's something that we can probably check. However, we can check. If you're interested, go ahead and look at. The thing is, we have to look at an election year that was in a bear market, right? So, if you're interested, look for an election year in a bear market, and I'm gonna look for it at some point because I get bored very easily. So I'll be out. I'll be out in our cost. I'll be looking at parts. All right. So the next one I have is Pepsi. I like Shopify. The next one I have is Pepsi. Pepsi has been holding this support for months and months and months. And it's kind of been in a channel. Actually, I'm seeing the channel now on the weekly very clear. So this kind of ugly channel here, right? There. So it's been in this channel for a bunch, discovering price up on the top and the bottom of it. Now that I added this channel, it kind of changes my thesis a little bit. What I was actually loving about Pepsi is that Pepsi's currently sitting at all-time highs. This is the first time that Pepsi has been this high. History, right? So obviously, way down here we're at hundreds, and now Pepsi for the first time is trading at 180. Hit the high of 182.93. So all-time high for Pepsi. A bullish cross on a MACD on a weekly. The TTM has remained bullish the entire time. We had earnings, and earnings gave us a positive reaction, a gap down, a gap up, a gap down, and then now it's starting to run. Okay. Now it's starting to. So, let's keep it on watch, only because I see that it's at the top of this channel that it's been in, so it can easily reject. And I already see that some sellers stepped in. Let's look at the intraday zone. I see that some sellers stepped in. However, what I like about this chart, this intraday, and the reason why I look at intradays is because I want to see what the behavior was, what the actual behavior was. So first things first, we got the small, the 20, I believe that is, crossing through all the moving averages, so it's squeezing. The 50 is above the 100, the 100 is above the 200. 20 is crossing through all of them, so that's really good. Right? Once we get that bullish cross there, then it'll be fully confirmed. But what I love about it is we had one tap here failed, another tap pre-market failed, and then another tap pre-market, but then we broke out at the open, and then we kind of held that level, right? We even pulled back, formed a little flag, and then tried it again, and then fell again, right? So, just see one more. And there was a lot of volume on this candle the last day, last minute, or last 30 minutes, or last hour. So let me go in a little bit more. Yeah, all the sell volume came at the very end of the day, and the very last candle was a doji at the end of two pullback candles. So that to me that shows that we're gonna try to test this top level again. We're gonna try to test the high of this candle, which was 182.92, which I believe was the high of the day, 182.92. This candle here, right before we pulled back. So I think we'll touch it one more time or two more times before we break out again. We might break out, touch 185, and then fall hard. So let's just keep it on watch. If you see Pepsi, then you'll know that the channel was broken and it's holding above this line. And if you see a put, then you know it's because it's already extended. Keep our eye. And then what I like about it, if you look at the weekly, tapped here, tapped here, tapped here, broke out, failed, tap, broke out, hold. Let's see if it holds. So this one, we might have no action this week, or have action immediately, or have action starting next week. Keep our eye. I'm targeting it for 185. 185 is it's right there, like $2 away, $2 away, so I can get it at the open. Obviously, we're not in, so we can't do anything about that. Targeting 185. Above that, I'm targeting one. It might do 185, then come back down to 180, then way back up. So let's just keep our eyes on. I like it. And I'll look at the change just because I want to create a muscle memory here. I'm not gonna put them on the chart because I don't want anybody to jump in unless. The 180, 250s for this week look good. They're between $1.86 and $1.90. Very tight spread for something that usually doesn't have a very tight spread. The 185s, let me just look at the OI. Yeah, the OI and the volume on this whole chain isn't the greatest, so you have to be careful, right? If you're in the play and you're profitable, make sure that you smash that take profit button, because then if the liquidity leaves out of these chains for whatever reason, right, a pullback, the slightest pullback will take liquidity out of these chains, and you'll end up having no buyers. Nobody wants to buy your bag, so be fast with the profit. Especially this one. That 185 is gonna be, it's like a key level. It's a key psychological level. Obviously, 185, 190, 195, as I have here, key psych levels. I bet there's gonna be a bunch of profit taken right into that 185 level. So I would just be if you're gonna play the 185s for this week, just be very cautious, very fast with your profit. But all it has to do is move up one spot in the chain, right? This one will move one spot in the chain up, and it'll gain you a whole dollar, right? Especially if it does it on Monday, right? And that's a $2.50 move to move up spot in the chain. considering that what's it, Pepsi put in 82.50. Yeah, Pepsi put in a $2.50 move, a $3 move on Friday. So it's possible that it can just fill up that gap in one day and give you a whole dollar on your 100% on and one chain slide up to the top. So those are the two that I like. I'm not gonna put any further out contracts. Actually, I will, just in case there's anybody who likes to buy time. Period, even if they're day trading it. Let's see. 1118. 1118. The one I'll go for 185 for 1118. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. 185 call. It's almost a short shot. I like these. Looking at these chains, I like how they are spaced. A $2.50 move gives you really good change in premium. Yeah, and I'll just add the 190s. Have lots of volume. 185 is the highest volume for 1118, and then right behind it is the 190s. The 190s do have a higher open interest. Very nice. Not the best, but decent. Not bad. Not bad for an illiquid company. Liquid option. Those are the ones that I would play if I were. Yeah, I wouldn't even play it to the downside. The thing has been so strong, and cyclicals have been strong. Bullish cross, MACD on a week. All this volume for a doji at the end of 3 red candles shows me that this is gonna go up. And it's like it's buyers and sellers fighting, and they couldn't even bring it down. I like it very strong. Let's see. The next one that I have is Dix. The reason why I like Dix is it's gonna sound crazy on the recording. The reason why I like this company, Dick's Sporting Goods, is because it's super volatile, and so we made a crazy move up, fell down, retried to make the high, and then fell from there and changed trend, right? And that's on the weekly, and that trend change came with the market as well, right? November 2021 was the top of the market, and from there we've just kind of been failing, right? And now we have a big bull flag on a daily, on a weekly, and then we also have what looks to me like a Head and Shoulders. Right, that one. Shoulder. And now we're back to the neckline. Right. We're right back on that neckline. Now, the reason why this caught my attention is because we are attempting to break that range again. We did it on Tuesday, but then seller stepped in and brought us back down. Right. All the moving averages are consolidated. Actually, the 50 finally caught up with Dix, and we bounced off of it on Friday at the open. And then the 50 crossed through the 200, which is a golden cross way back here in September. Price has been consolidating, just waiting for the 50 to catch up. So I think that now is finally the time for it to move. And then the targets for the weekly are break above the close of the week, break above the high of that week, break above the high of that week, break above the high of that week. Right. And then we can start to see the 125s and the 130s. There's a 125 in between these two. So I don't know what the best course of action here is. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's buy some time, or I don't know if it's let it actually break right now. Let's look at the chains. I know that DKS can get quite expensive if you buy time on it. Let's see. 11.4. 11.4. We can stay right at the money. I also want the only thing with DKS is that DKS doesn't have a lot of open interest and volume. They usually have, like, on a week like this, like on a day like this, they must have had a bunch of volume. A day like this, they must have had a bunch of volume. Even this red day must have had a bunch of volume, right? So the volume comes and goes. People don't hold it. People day trade this for whatever reason. There's like very little OI. If I were to play it, I would probably call out whatever the closest strike is, which in this case is the 117s. I don't like, I don't like, I don't like any of these spreads. The 117 call has a spread of between 265 and 290, so it's 25-cent spread, very, very wide. The 118 calls has between 215 and 245, so 30-cent spread. The 119 call has a between $1.80 and 205, so that's 25 cents. So it's very, very widespread. Even the 120 call has $1.50 and $1.75, very wide. The 120s are the ones with the most open interest. 140 contracts open. Let me check the 1118. I'm not in love with the 11.4. 11.4. Let's see. All right, so 1118, the 120 has 1,000 in open interest. It has a 40-point spread though between $3.60 and $4. So I don't really see something here. I mean, I would just stay as close as possible to the money. We'll revisit. I don't wanna give anybody any hopium on this. Let me just set an alert. Set an alert there. See how many sellers step in at this level. Every time we get to this level, there's some sellers. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if the sellers continue to step in. I want to see if sellers continue to step in once price reaches this level. Again, ever since we've fallen down and come back and kind of filled it up a little bit and rejected it here, and now I want to see if we can continue to like trade alongside this level before we actually break it out. DKS obviously wants to, obviously, so it's a matter of will it have earnings end of next. But this thing is ready to go. It's ready to go. It's bull flagging, big channel, holding the range, even though it came and fell as far down as 99, 81. So now we're back at 160. I like it a lot. I just don't love the chains, so I'm not gonna put anything. So until I see something change. The next one that I have is, this might be my last one. We have about 15. I'll make these. I have a few. All right, I'll make it quick. Costco. Costco's probably above the $500 level. Costco's rejecting its 200 day. Right. It's rejecting its 200 day. We put in kind of a double bottom on a weekly with a higher bottom. And now we have this. So we have our first higher low on a weekly. So now we got to form a higher high in order to get into an uptrend. However, I do see this falling resistance line here. This is essentially my target. This is essentially my target here, is this falling resistance. Now I think we're gonna meet it right at this level here, right at 531.82. So the thing with Costco that I learned personally is that you have to catch it on the right day. You have to catch it on the right day. Some days, every day it has a potential to make a big move, but some days it won't. Right? Like this day, it faked us out. Wednesday, Thursday didn't do much. Friday finally busted through the 100-day. Right, so that's the reason why I like it. Through the 100-day, it consolidated and broke out. Yeah, this is the 200, so this is going to be a tough level here. So I'll be watching it to break out above the 200. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to break the 200 and hold it. Usually when it does break it, gives us nice moves, nice pop, nice 4-day move here. So another thing with Costco is like you might buy it on a Monday, and you might buy calls that are a little bit further out because Costco can get expensive, and then it might take an entire few days for it to develop. Like you might get 3 or 4 days for the moves to happen. That's what I find with Costco. So like if you can't time it properly and catch the move on that day, and you're down 20, 30%, 40%, I would say at 40, my risk tolerance would probably say cut it. At 30, it depends. It depends on how far we are from the strike, because it can easily in the next couple of days go well beyond that strike, and pay you back your money. So 40, I would cut it. 30, I would think about cutting it. 20, I would probably 20% down Costco. And if we catch it on the right day, take the profit as soon as you see it, because these small pullbacks always take money away from you. So let's look at the contracts for this real quick, and I'll run through the next one, and you guys have any. 11.4, 525s. So 525s puts us back. 525 call puts us back. Okay. So the reason why I don't necessarily trade to get in the money all the time, but I want the purpose of options. It's all about perception, right? Does it seem like it can get back to 525? Yes. That in that case, I would like to stay at 525. Does it seem like it can get to 550 in a week? Maybe not. But can I do it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Yes. So it's all about perception. That's where you have to, whatever you're at, you have to think about it, right? Like 11.4. We have between now and Friday for it to get to 525. That's a 15-point move for Costco, right? And I mean, it can do it. It can easily do it. This last week was, we opened at 481 and we closed at 510, right? That's a 20-point move. So it can easily do a 15-point move if it wants to, right? Especially after a couple of weeks of consolidation. So, and breaking through that consolidation, especially now we have some momentum on our side. Let's see what the momentum indicators say. Yeah, we're about to get a bullish cross on the MACD, and maybe this week coming. And we'll see what happens on this TTM. It either might fall down or it might go up, depending on what this week does. So let's look at Monday, see what it does. I like the 525s for this week. 11.4, 525 call. The spreads are not the best, but they're not the worst either. That one doesn't have too much OI. The 520s have a lot of OI. The 520s are between $4 and $4.15 and $4.40. But I like for 2 to go to 4, right? Then for 4 to go to 5 or something, or 6. I think that 2 can get to 4, especially 5-point. Like if you're looking at the chains, the 512s, which are at the money, are $7, $7.50 average. The 515s are $6.20 average. The 520s are $4.30 average. The 525s are $2.70 average. So from 525 up to 520, $200 or $150 something, $160 of spread average between the 525 and the 520s. The 520s to the 515s are just about the same. The 515s to the 512 and a half are about $1. So the spreads are good, and I think that from 2 to 3 is a 50% move. 2 to 4 is a 100% move, right? So I'm looking for those profit. I'm looking for, and it depends on how your trading style is. Do you like to see the percent P&L change? Right? I like to see percent P&L change. I'm starting to shift into seeing, oh, this is $100 in my pocket. I just found $100. Right? That could be a 10% move. That could be a 30% move. That could be a 50% move. That gives me $100. So it depends. If I see 100%, I feel greedy. If I see 200%, I feel greedy, right? If I see $100, I start to feel greedy now, right? Or $90, I start to feel greedy. Like, and that's just a function of wanting to consistently take profit. So I like the 525s. If you want the little bit more safety, and you're less concerned with percent gains on this, and you're more concerned with dollar amount, then maybe the 520s will be good for you. between 415 and 440, right? And then if we want more time on this, because you want to see if it can capture 550, then I would say go out a few weeks. 545s. Let's do the 545s because the 545s have lots of open interest, lots of volume, and a decent spread, and at a decent price, I would say, right? I would call it a decent price. And if you want to get closer, 1118, you want to spend more money, get a little bit closer, I would probably play the 530s. Although now we're getting into like SPX pricing, and I would rather spend my $6 on it on a SPX that will go from 6 to 10 that I can sell, okay, and to spend $6 on something and then hold it for a couple. I mean, you never know. This has 2 good weeks in it, and that 6 will go to 12 or 13 or 15, 20, right? Actually, I'll tell you right now. Yeah, if 510 is in the money, it's at $15. The 500s are $20. So it can make a move, and you have more time, right? But it has to make that move for the entirety of the 1 week or 2 weeks. So I mean, maybe you can even day trade it. If you get the nice candlestick, you could probably even day trade it. If you get a nice 20-point move out of it, you can take 6 and turn it to 15 a day. But you need that 20-point move in one day. Maybe we do that. Maybe we start pivoting from SPX to other tickers and add time to it because it's all about the same price. So that's what I like. I like these. This 545 for the 18th of November is really, really nice in my opinion. It'll bring us back to the supply level too. So, or actually, we'll be out by the time we get to that supply level. So, next one we have, I think this is my second to last. BMY. BMY just did a beast of a move. I had good earnings on Tuesday, and then just been gapping up ever since. It broke through all this previous resistance on a weekly, and now we are faced with this high and these highs over here. You see a bunch of selling activity here, a bunch of sellers in this area. So what I want to do with this is I want to see if I can get back to this area and then take it before the sellers jump in. And I think and then we're about to get the bullish cross on a MACD this week at the open. I bet you it's going to be a bull cross, and this thing looks like it's slowing down on bearish sell pressure. Let's look at BNY seasonality. I think that their seasonality is another reason. BNY is like one of those companies that moves slow and it pays you crazy. So November, there's a massive pop in seasonality. Compared to October. October is the second to lowest month. So it's January and then October are the second of the 2 lowest months. November is the third highest. So or the fourth highest. So we're coming into seasonality. Break above 77. Break and hold above 77. We can see 78. And that's what I want. I just want 78. I don't want nothing crazy. Right? Maybe we get 80, but I just want 78. BNY. And if it's not worth it to you for a $1 move, that's cool too. Right? BNY, this is great for small accounts to play. Let's see, 11.4, 77 call, or sorry, 78 call. No, we can do 77. We can add 77 call. Between 88 and 96. 11.4, 78 call between 45 and 51. Now, these are so cheap that you can just go out buy at the money 2 weeks out and have that added safety, right? So 11.18, 77 call, 156 to 166. Nice spread. 11.18, 78 call, a 130, 141. So now the only thing with this is very safe, extremely safe, right? And because it's safe, it's a slow mover, so you have to have patience. So buying time might be a better move. Um, you're not gonna get like thousands of percent. You're probably gonna get. I mean, you get a nice move, especially if it comes out breaks out in such as this 80, then you'll get a very nice move on your contract. But I wouldn't expect like a massive. With this, I would load, 5 pack, 10 pack, and at 10% profit start scaling out. It's like a very slow play, very boring play. This is like good for options beginners actually, a play like this, because it's cheap enough where it's like low risk, buy a couple contracts. And then as you're learning the mechanics, like if this is your first trade that's not paper, you're learning the mechanics. All right, let me buy it. It's not volatile where it'll take all your profits away in 10 seconds like SPX does or Tesla. And then boom, let me sell it in a day or two, right? 3 days, 4 days, a week. And you'll be profitable. You'll feel accomplished, right? So I like it for that. Last one that I have is it Twilio? Yeah, Twilio is just a repeat of last week. It didn't quite move. Like we put in Doji on Monday, popped on Tuesday, fell back, and now it's kind of forming a handle. So Twilio is still basically within the range of that box right there, still within it. We got a nice bull cross between the 20 and the 50. So that's support. I added my alert for 77.14. I want to see a break through 14 to target. So for this, I think we had the 11.480 calls, which I bet are just they're going to be much cheaper now. Yeah. You guys have anything you want to look at? How about I have like at one. 11.480 calls are now $3.60, 365. Right? Even if you got in, you didn't lose much. Still, the setup is still the same. Actually, the setup I would say is probably better now. And just in the spirit of looking at some, let's look at another 11.4. A closer one would be 11.4. 77 calls look pretty good, and they're between 4.7 and 4.95. And then let's look at 11.18. You got to go a little further off these. Let's do the 80s. 80 call between 485 and 505. And the reason why these contracts are so expensive, even though Twilio is only trading at 70 something dollars, is because Twilio has the ability to move like $10 in a day easily. So that's what you pay for the volatility. Then let's do the 85s. 85s. 85 call. 325. 3. Yeah. Yeah, Nvidia. We did it earlier, but I'm happy to do it again. Um, now that we have a we've gone through the other ones and I've kind of shown my bias. Nvidia. So I like Nvidia. The weekly shows us that. So two things. We have this head and shoulders that we've been fighting with, which has been a market wide head and shoulders, I would say, here. Maybe there's another shoulder here, whatever this is, right? We're bearish. Another secret, not a secret, but a tactic of mine is when you see a chart like this, it's kind of hard to kind of find patterns, right? It's hard to find patterns sometimes. So what I do is I like to flatten the charts. And then when you flatten the charts, it's much easier to identify certain patterns, right? So we have this downtrend that market-wide downtrend that we're facing. This is the weekly, and ever since this week, we've been expanding the range, broadening the range out, right? Searching for higher highs and lower lows. We played during this time a bunch, and I think I played once or twice. I don't like playing Nvidia to the downside, but I think we played it on this week, one of these 2 weeks, and now we've touched the bottom of this broadening formation. which if you were on the call earlier, I had adjusted it. It looked more like this, but I adjusted it to look like this, right? And if it comes down and makes a further low, then I'll adjust it then again, right? So I like it to the downside. I like it to the upside because we've already discovered price down here. We made a new low, and now we're working our way with strength and gusto back into the center of this broadening formation. This really belongs like right here. That's more like. So what I want to see is I'm targeting the level here where this pivot was here, and they have earnings coming up in the middle of November. We put in a bullish engulfing on Friday. Very, very nice sign, especially at the 50-day. Right, that 50-day usually for tech is a big wall. And we put in a nice bullish engulfing right through the 50-day after we rejected and break out above the range of the previous candle. Look at the 30-minute. Yeah, so price came up, found a bunch of foreign resistance throughout the couple of days, opened up at the 50-day and tried to break it and reject it. Tried again. Really, really, really strong candle. Try again and reject it and then fell from there, right? The next day, opened up and tried that 50-day. And Friday, I was looking at it. I'm like, Friday, I like Nvidia. I mean, everything in the market was ripping. I liked Nvidia, but I didn't know how I felt about that 50-day. But thanks to Apple, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and Apple did that with the market. It kept everybody out of the hospital. That was terrible analogy. But it broke. It hit the 50, rejected, fell down hard, undid almost the entire price action of this green candle, came all the way back down to down here, and then buyer stepped in and took it all the way back up and just went loopy. Okay. And then broke through the 50 with gusto, stayed above it, bull flag, and now we're almost breaking that bull flag. Pretty much breaking. We're actually above the highs in the pre-market or the after hours. We're above the highs this day. So we got that bullish engulfing. I'm targeting 145. Oh, because I just added this time. Okay. So with Nvidia, if you recall, was one of the ones that we looked at last week. And the 126s and the 130s, depending on which day you took. Depending on which day you took, they paid. If you took Monday, they paid. If you took Tuesday, they paid. Even on Wednesday, if you were fast with it, they paid. Even if you swung into Thursday, they calls paid. Took it on this one candle, they paid. If you took it on these two candles, they paid. So the opportunity was there to make money with Nvidia. But now it looks like since it's cleared the 50 and it's above the resistance of that week, whatever week that was, this week's resistance, October, first week of October. Now we can potentially go higher, right? And as I mentioned earlier, it's really contingent on AMD's earnings. So I will go with the 140s between 375 and 390. I will go with the 143s. 143s have very interesting OI. Between 217 and 272. If you are gambling, I will go with the 150s. The 145s obviously are there too, but 150s for anyone who wants to ride that dragon. The 150s have monster OI and monster volume. OI for the 150s are 4,574 and the volume is 7,036. Oh, and the 145s are all off. If you want more time, and again, AMD has earnings on Tuesday, so keep that in mind. Because AMD has earnings on Tuesday, Nvidia has a market maker move of $3.84. Nothing crazy, but there's still some volatility to be expected. If you like more time, I will go with the 1118 150s. They are $4.10, $4. That's my wave video. And I like that we're about to get the Butters Cross this week at the open, I'm sure. And we're cleared the 50. The next target is 100 at 152, which puts us well above this pivot. So the pivot and then the 100. Yeah, yeah. AMD's 100. So Nvidia's top watch, one of the top watches for this week, especially since we looked at it last week. It was our green last week, and it moved, and now it's it looks good again for this week. So just screenshot of that. It's a post. I didn't get to. All right, guys, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining this. You're welcome, Terry. Alrighty. Have a good Sunday, guys. Enjoy your families. Let me see those costumes if you guys are dressing up. All right. Have fun. Thank you. Take care, guys.